In fact, to the members of the Jewish community that don't like me, thank you very much for putting my name all over the planet. So when they talk about Farrakhan, call me a hater, you know what they do? Call me an anti-semite. Stop it. I'm anti-termite.
There you've got Loesch Farrakhan at the anniversary celebration of the Million Man March making those comments. Dana Loesch, syndicated radio talk show host of The Dana Show, joins us right now from Dallas. Dana, you're shaking your head listening to Farrakhan. Why?
Because it's 2018 and people still think like this. I mean, what era do we live in? This is insane. And not only does Loesch Farrakhan think like this, but he's accepted by the tech elite. He's accepted by Democrats. He's accepted by progressives, by a lot of liberals. I mean, for crying out loud, he's a mentor to the people who founded the Women's March, who eagerly defend him. I mean, this guy says that he admired Hitler, for crying out loud. Not only that, but let's not forget at Aretha Franklin's funeral, who was standing shoulder to shoulder with him right there on the floor? Bill Clinton, for crying out loud, who's still by many individuals considered to be kind of the face of the Democrat Party. So they're still trying to mainstream this guy.
Yeah, and when some of his things and his thoughts pop up on Twitter, why isn't that labeled hate speech?
That's the million-dollar question, Brian. Why isn't it labeled hate speech? So that video that you all just showed right there, he posted that on Twitter yesterday. Now think about this. Loesch Farrakhan is allowed to, and he's posted way worse on Twitter. I mean, that's pretty heinous, but he's posted other heinous things on Twitter also. Meanwhile, gay conservatives get banned on Twitter because they're gay and conservative. So I feel like Twitter has a lot of explaining to do. They need standards and practices and some consistency with their terms of service, because the way I see it, anti-Semitism is welcome, but if you're a gay conservative, you're not allowed.
So is he saying, there's some that are saying he's comparing the Jewish people to insects, but other people are saying he doesn't mean that. He means he's not anti-Semite, he just doesn't like bugs. What did you, it was a very odd quote, but what did you gather from that? What do you think he meant?
He's anti-bugs?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because I also don't like bugs, but I'm also not a raging anti-Semite who's going to compare a whole demographic of people to insects. I think he was, yeah. And if you go back, Ainsley, and you look at other things that Loesch Farrakhan has said when he has called them the devil and he's referred to them as being evil, when you look at, for the lack of a better way to put it, the body of work of Loesch Farrakhan, shall we say, he has for so long made the most awful comments about Jewish people and made the most awful comparisons. So this is just kind of par for the course for him. He thinks it's okay, and people actually defend it or they sanction it with their silence.
Well, one other topic we're talking about today, Dana, is the fact that the president's going to go out to Montana tonight to support the Republican running for Senate against John Tester. Now, there are going to be a lot of people in the crowd. But last night on CNN, they had a panel, and somebody had this observation about people who go to Trump rallies. Listen to this.
Talking about the people who go to these rallies and they cheer as the president holds up a victim of sexual assault and jeers and mocks her.
Where people are just trying to make liberals scream and cry. The cruelty is the point of that, and it really has gone mainstream in a way that's bigger than the people that just go to Trump's rallies.
Yeah. Until white evangelical men have the fortitude to speak out against this behavior, then nothing's going to change.
What do you think about that observation of the Trump rally?
I'm so tired of hearing this from these individuals, this chattering class of people who clearly have proven that they don't understand what 2016 was all about. If you want to get more Trump, this is how you get more Trump. When you start comparing innocent people to racists and everything else as a substitute for your informed dissent with his policies, that's pretty pathetic. Look, all these individuals for so long, because let's not forget, a lot of these people that voted for Donald Trump were Democrats who were completely disillusioned with the very party these individuals that you just showed showed in this clip support wholeheartedly. These individuals were good enough to vote for the Clintons all those years, but the moment they change their allegiance, the moment they decide to support a candidate and go out to a rally and hear words about trade, manufacturing, jobs, immigration, the economy, all of a sudden then their characters are impugned and they're cast as racist, they're cast as sexist, they're cast as bigots. I know so many people who go to these rallies and they're none of these things.
Right.
And these individuals apparently don't understand flyover America. If they're going to continue to misrepresent Americans, continue to impugn their characters, and continue to smear them and malign them simply because they think different from them politically, that's shameful. And those people who are making those remarks ought to be embarrassed for their lack of understanding of the American voter.
And by the way, the lack of understanding of the Trump operation, they are signing, with all those rallies, they're signing up hundreds of volunteers for 2020, and they also have raised combined $106 million. I mean, they are ahead of anybody ever running for re-election.
So far, so good for the re-election of the President of the United States, his team says. Dana, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thank you all.
You're welcome. All right, let's hand it over to Carly, who has some more